in the ICC. 34 countries out of 54 have ratified the Treaty of International Criminal Court. What is it lacking on the ground in African countries that we want to get from the ICC? These are the serious questions that you as Africans on this platform should start pondering upon or on to find amicable solutions. Why should we have our people detained, airlifted to be detained in the ICC as if it is only in the ICC that you can get justice? Our courts better than the courts of the International Criminal Court? The answer is yes. Then why do we admire the ICC so much that everybody in Africa now talks of ICC? What has happened about our courts? What was the objective of formation of ICC? International Criminal Court was formed as a complementary court. A complementary court, and I repeat 3 times, complementary court, to complement the work of the national jurisdictions. But it appears that of late, this court has usurped powers. It behaves as if it's the world policeman to issue warrants to those opponents they feel, to the opponents Americans feel are not towing their line. We have seen this happen elsewhere in other countries. We saw this happen in DRC Congo. We saw this happen in Kenya. In 2008, the ICC came to Kenya and issued warrants against indicted 6 people. Six people were indicted because these 6 people didn't even know what was taking place. People in Kenya perished, but they came to indict wrong people. They did not do investigations. In Uganda, the first case on African continent. This is what made me to come out. If you look at the website of International Criminal Court, I'm the only human being south of Sahara who has placed there 21 applications. Go to the website of ICC. Dr. David Nyekorach Matanga versus the Chief Prosecutor Rui Moreno Campo, Fatou Bensouda. Several applications. The court kept on looking at them. At times I succeeded in 3. Most of them were compromised. They went to the same Sudan, a Christian organization in the United States of America, paid Ocampo $17 million to indict Bashir. I discovered this. I followed all the information. As a whistleblower, I placed it before the International Criminal Court. All what they did was to call me a liar. They called me a very big liar. But they did not call me to ask me how I got the documents of transfers from US, a national bank in Citibank, banking it through Bahamas, laundering it through South Africa and Mauritius, and going to Ocampo's personal assistant's account called Sylvia Fernandez Gomedi. Sylvia Fernandez Gomedi later on rose to the rank of a presiding judge from a PA to a presiding judge of the International Criminal Court with a record of $17 million paid to indict General Omar Bashir of Sudan. As you speak today, why Omar Bashir will never be taken to the Hague is because of this Matsanga here. It's because of me. I stood in the middle. That application has made them very panicky. They panic all the time when they look at the application I put forward. That if we want to airlift Omar Bashir from his jail in Khartoum, take him to the Matsanga will be on the floor. I will be there in the Hague. You don't need to, you can't stop me. Can't stop reggae when it comes. I will be there to defend, to show that there was money paid to, in exchange of indicting Omar Bashir. The peace in Darfur has returned. Does ICC want war or peace? If peace has returned in Darfur, the people of Darfur of South Sudan live together, of Sudan. They live together as people of Sudan, a country that was left there. Why do you go to indict? Why do you follow? Why do you punish the whole nation? Until the military coup has come on site, it is there. The military are now in power. The military cannot hand over their own generals, because if they hand on the generals, they were the commanders. The next thing is the plane to come back to take the generals themselves who have taken over power from Bashir. So you can see how complicated, how complex this thing is. And it has made things very difficult for the ICC to be trusted. Ladies and gentlemen, is it a political court? Is it a court that looks for only places that have Western interests? So many people in Biafra, Amazonia, have been killed by Buhari and Paul Biya. A huge number of people are dying today as we speak in Libya. A huge number of people are dying today as we speak because of Boko Haram in Nigeria. But there is nobody who has come up to indict the authorities in Nigeria about the dying. The ICC has not indicted anybody. Why then do you invite Putin? Why do you indict him? Why can't we indict Tony Blair? Why can't we indict Bush? They told us that the document they used to bomb Iraq was a doctored sext document that was written, a thesis of a younger man in a university that they used and assumed the man had weapons of mass destruction. Where are these weapons today? We killed Iraq, but where are the weapons? Where do these countries store these weapons that they keep on telling us that these weapons do exist in Iraq, in Afghanistan, in Syria? Where are they? Where do they keep them when they go there to bomb and take over and control the territory? I don't know whether any member of this platform knows where the bombs are or where the weapons that Gaddafi had are kept. Why doesn't the ICC issue a warrant of arrest for Mr. Sarkozy? Mr. Sarkozy, a former French president, stole Gaddafi's money, went and used Gaddafi's money for campaigns in UK, in France. And the investigators in France proved that he actually used extra money to campaign for his presidency. What did they do next? They arrested him, charged him in court, and he was found guilty. He's waiting for sentencing. which could be 1, 2 years, 3 years. We don't know. So why can't we issue a warrant to such a person? Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We can talk and talk about the ICC. It is never the end of the story that we want to hear here. Paul, I hope you are now ready. You can take your notes and do the necessary. Thank you very much, Paul.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Maganga, for the privilege. You see, we need to figure out first the ICC, who is bankrolling the ICC. So the same people that are bankrolling the ICC are the people that are controlling them. Because if the ICC is fair, you know, we say whoever that goes to equity has to go with a clean hand. ICCs are not clean. That's just the gospel truth. That's why they are doing what they are doing. Okay, if they are clean, they're not supposed to be doing what they are doing. There should be equity, fairness, and justice. But in that situation, there is no equity, there is no justice, there is no fairness. That's why you see what is going on is what is going on. Those people that are bankrolling them, that's the people that are telling them what to do. And the question is now, who are the people that are bankrolling ICC? So your guess is good as mine. That's why you see all this indictment going on, you know. So we need to figure out a way to take care of Africa and see how we can move Africa forward. I think we should say more on Africa because the same power that is holding ICC was the same power that is holding Africa, that is destabilizing Africa and taking African resources for their own benefit. Because without the African resources, the people that are controlling ICC will not progress. So I think we should channel our effort on how to decolonize Africa and also how to get Africa working, get Africa out of colonial masters and be able to move forward. And also the Berlin Conference that is holding Africa hostage. I think we should have to look for a way for us to go to our tribal lines the same way European and West have been to their tribal line. That's why they develop. That's why you don't see internal fighting in them. Like UK, as a case study, they have 4 nations that makes up that country. So I think once we do this thing in Africa, that will make it easier for us to all these conflict that are going on in Africa to stop. And I believe that's the only way to move Africa forward instead of us focusing on the West that are doing all these things. Because without conflict, they will not prosper. I think we should channel our effort in Africa and take care of the issue that is going on in Africa, because it's just similar issue all of us had. Getting in a hostile territory and some people controlling the powers in Africa, the same colonial terrorists that are controlling all the presidents in Africa. That's why you see ECOWAS and the AU, they cannot do anything. That's why you see most of them that are part of ICC. They are just a yes member. They cannot speak on their own because they were being controlled by some external powers. So these are the things we have to work on. That's why you see all the killings going on. None of them can speak. They can't even say anything. Because if they go against their colonial terrorists, they too will be indicted. The bottom line is that most of the presidents in Africa, they are not clean. They are corrupt. That's why you see them keeping quiet. Like I said in your previous space, most of them are, the agent to these colonial terrorists that terrorize Africa. So they use them to control other people in Africa. That's why we see what is going on in Africa is not stopping. Except we get to the root of the problem, we will not solve African problem. I will just leave it here for others to talk. Thank you for the privilege.
Thank you very much, Paul. I think you have raised quite a number of things there, and you are very right, 100% correct that we might not be able to solve any problem in Africa, honestly, because it looks like ICC also is part of the problems that we have as Africa. Look at all African states where ICC has stepped in. Look at them. Look at Libya, Central African Republic. Look at Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. Look at Uganda. ICC came to Uganda in 2005. The first case in the ICC books was from my country, Uganda, in 2005. That's how I started knowing how bad the ICC was, and I started opposing them then from 2005. I stood firm. I was never shy. I said the chief prosecutor of International Criminal Court was a thief, was a liar, was a conman, was a corrupt guy who was being paid money to come to molest Africa. And I was later on vindicated very well. And I stand today tall, high, very, very, very honorable, very honored person. Because I said it. If I did not say it at then, people would have not known that ICC was very bad. If I did not say it and I shouted in Kenya, nobody was shouting in the Republic of Kenya when the Ocampo 6 were being taken on politically motivated selection. Crime is crime. You can't select crime by saying this one 6, the other one is 4. No, crime is crime. People have committed crime, they are taken as criminals. They are not taken as crime 1, crime 2, or this one or that way. No, a criminal is a criminal. A crime is a crime. Then why do you select? So, ladies and gentlemen, Paul, you raised serious number. This is why Africa is heading into fire zone. We are already in fire. We are already in hell. We have actually, most of African countries seem to be in hell. Then I hope God has to excuse us. We have already suffered in most of these countries because of institutions like ICC. Now it has found its death point. It has found someone who will bring them down. They tried Israel. Israel said, you come, bring it on. We shall even bomb the building. We don't care. We shall go and bomb the building in The Hague. If you try one Israeli soldier, we shall come for you and bomb you. And the people, the ICC feared. America put sanctions on the chief prosecutor never to travel to America. Charles Mutama, you can come up and you contribute to the debate if you have time. So there were so many things that Africa, as Paul has said, that let me bring my brother Tamarain.
Yes,
David
Tamarain.
Boy.
Yes, thank you, Doctor. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. I bring you peace and love, my fellow Africans. Doctor, before I start, I want to commend you for putting up such a conversation. You are a man with, with all due respect, strong African testicles, because such a conversation, not everybody can dare put up such a conversation because of the attention it might call or backlashes. However, back to the topic, it's a very interesting one, and of course mentally stimulating because you know it directly and indirectly speaks to us because the decisions of the ICC affects our countries directly and indirectly and our leaders. So this is a very interesting and interesting conversation. However, the ICC, I to start with, I would say, it has turned those countries that were criticized for not being signatory to the Statute of Rome now are being vindicated too, because at the time people felt that those were the real countries that are against the rule of law and called democracy with a parenthesis, and now we've come to see that actually those countries were right because the ICC from its inception had it's you don't need to have certain insight to understand that it was created as a tool to police the world, to police certain part of the world. And it has been working this way because when you go to the ICC record, you look at the people that has been prosecuted and from all regions of the world. The irony is just unavoided because it seems that like some specific regions of the world are targeted and some are not. And this has been going on for long. People have protested, and just like you, doctor, and your stance on the matter that this is there is no justice there. In fact, it's injustice, and the kind of justice that they have been administering has been affecting every part of the world. We can go to places like Iraq. In fact, this case study there are lots of case study one can go through with how flawed and the ICC is. The sad thing is now when it comes to our own continent, because out of 10 Africans, 6 of them still strongly believe in the ICC. They believe they could have justice there. You could see from the incidents that has gone on happening in Nigeria in the past 8 years, we haven't even had anything from the ICC. These are gross human rights violations. What they
We seem to have lost you, the boy, but you can now come back. You can request because it seems where you are, the internet is not very good. We've lost you, but you can apply. The line was going off, and it was affecting everybody. So, as a catch, you can now speak. Charles, Honorable Charles Mutama. Good afternoon in the United States of America. Let's listen to your conversation, sir. Mr. Charles Mutama, Honorable Charles Mutama, the president of Zimbabwe Patriotic Party of Zimbabwe. Good afternoon in New York.
Yes.
In America.
Yes, Yes, Dr. Matanga, can you hear me clearly?
I don't think we can hear you. You can drop then come back.
Okay, give me a few minutes and I can see what's going on with my connection.
Then come back.
Dr. Matanga, check your mic. It's not coming out clear. I don't know what's going on. It's like we are getting attacked. Check your mic, Dr. Matanga. You're not coming out clear. Thank you. Dr. Matanga, we cannot hear you. Check your mic. I think it's an attack. We can't hear you, Dr. Matanga. Take your mic.
I think we have a problem here now. People who are
It's
coming
clear
in,
now. It's
most
clear
of
now,
you,
Dr. Matanga. It's clear.
are you there, Paul? Paul, do
Yes,
you
you are
hear
good
me?
now. You're good. You're good. We can hear you now. You're good.
I'm telling
Yes,
you,
I can
people
hear
who are
you.
joining, when you have Bluetooth, please remove Bluetooth. Please, I beg you to remove Bluetooth from your phone. Switch it off. Bluetooth, please. Switch it off. All of you who want to speak, switch off your Bluetooth. It is the one making the situation very impossible. If you have Bluetooth, it will affect all of us here. Nahime from Oromo, Ethiopia, or Oromo, friend of mine. Charles, I have again admitted you to speak. Tamara, I have admitted you to speak again. Kahara, I have admitted you. Clara, Hart, you have been admitted to speak. So, ladies and gentlemen, where were we? Nahim, your connection is very bad. You can't even come. I can see.
Hello, can you hear me?
Clara, you have come in, but switch mute and let's get somebody to speak. Yes, you have been admitted. Tamara, what was the point that you are making before Charles comes back?
Yeah, I was trying. Well, just in conclusion, and before my network crash, I think we are being attacked, Doctor. Anyway, because like I told you, this is an interesting conversation we're having, and the forces that being, I don't know, but anyway, we will have this conversation. Anyway, the point.
Don't worry about it. What we do when you come to speak, remove your Bluetooth.
Yeah,
they will not attack you. They are attacking you because the Bluetooth is on.
Okay, Doctor. I'll take that for next time. But I wasn't having my
From
Bluetooth,
today onwards.
Okay.
If you have Android,
yes,
and if your phone is Android, and you are joining any of this conversation on Twitter and you have Bluetooth on, you will be attacked and you will attack the rest of us.
Yeah.
So,
I have an iPhone, so I don't think that was a problem from my side.
And so someone amongst us had Bluetooth on. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. Anyway, Doctor, just to say, I from my own personal point of view, I think the ICC is flawed. I don't think, especially when it comes to matters that concerns we Africans, taken into the ICC, I don't think we will have justice there, because it will always be based on those that controls the ICC's interest. It will never be on the people's interest. We have many cases in Africa whereby if the ICC was just, they could have done something. But today now we can see the direction they have made, which is part of what will make the parallel world keep on, which is going to be what part of the reason that will make the world more parallel with this Russia-Ukraine war. I yield my mic for the now.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You have done it very extremely well, and that is what we want on the platform. It is a task that I've taken on. Ladies and gentlemen on the platform, I've been a vanguard of this struggle against ICC since 2005. The first cases of Uganda, where the Uganda cases of ICC or Campo came to Uganda, did all investigations, found out all the crimes that were committed by all sides, irrespective of who it was. But when he went back, he selected what he wanted. From that time, I saw this was not a good court, a biased court. And today I have been vindicated why I brought this topic, that Karim Khan, who was my friend Karim Khan was a lawyer for His Excellency Mudhaura in Kenya, and later on he became a lawyer for His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto in the ICC. And we were fighting together. We are fighting the ICC together with him over these issues. And I'm shocked that he has reached there and became a nuisance, and a terrible nuisance. Kabisa is dishing out warrants without seeing the other side. We are not saying we like what Russia is doing in Ukraine. No, but then also bring us. Ukraine is also using rubber. Is not using rubber bullets. Ukraine is using ammunition, sending them into Russian territory. There are people in Russia dying. Have you thought of that? There are people, these missiles that we are getting from the United States are hitting Russian soil. Honestly, had you thought about that? There are people in Russia near the territory, the border with Ukraine, who are also dying. Are there no children in Russia, in those areas? So let's be very honest. If you're a prosecutor, bring out the things that can be very well understood by the world, and we support you. But we can't support you when you have been charged politically, told to go and charge and arrest Putin. Can you arrest Putin? Can you arrest Putin, ladies and gentlemen? Can the chief prosecutor arrest, even with his ass, can he arrest Putin? I'm sorry to use this language today. Can he? Arresting Putin is like creating a third world war. We are trying to get the world the world will be finished. You can't arrest Putin. Why don't we arrest Nicolas Sarkozy? Mr. Sarkozy went and killed Muammar Gaddafi. He put Libya to chaos. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you cry. Today, what Malema is crying for in South Africa, Gaddafi would have given them money to build what they want. What people in Africa are crying for, Gaddafi was building schools in Africa. Gaddafi was building roads, mosques, churches. He did not discriminate whether you're a Christian. The chiefs, he was giving the chiefs dignity, African dignity. What did he do wrong? They came, they said he had weapons of mass destruction. I want to pose one question here. And there are people here who are sympathetic to these guys. Have they shown you where did they put these weapons after the leader has been killed? Where do they put this? They told us Saddam Hussein had weapons. So nuclear, where have they kept them? They told us that Gaddafi had the nuclear weapons. Where are they? They told us at least the only thing that Afghanistan, where Osama bin Laden was, I agree with them. They had to invade Afghanistan because Osama bin Laden was in Afghanistan. That is okay. Because he went and attacked America. That is agree. We all know. People died. But weapons of mass destruction, where are they? How do you, let me ask one question, as if I did not go to school. One leader comes up and says, we bombed Libya, but we are sorry, we did not have evidence. We bombed Iraq, we are sorry. The evidence was cooked from Tony Blair's stomach and the toilet in North Islington, where he lives in that flat there. Cooked it. He cooked it. He can't even live in a better house. He was given a free house. But if we are to go to buy houses, he can't fit some of us who have bought our houses. Cooked evidence. And they said, Iraq has weapons of mass destruction. Then later on said, we are sorry, there were no weapons. we lied. Another general from America called Colin Powell, Paul Collins, or Paul, that guy there, who was an American Secretary of State. He said we cooked. This was cooked. There are weapons of mass destruction. Later on, when he was about to die, he said, "I'm sorry, there were no weapons. May God hold his teeth as bright as it was." You know, they killed countries. We didn't have ISIS. We didn't have Syrian refugees crossing over, coming to Britain to take everything that is there, to congest the hospitals, that some of us work hard to pay tax. We work hard to pay. We wash plates to pay taxes. But they went to Syria and they said Syria has weapons of mass destruction. Now see the number of refugees that are flowing from the English Channel, coming to Britain. Some of them are being flown to Rwanda, and Rwanda has become a satellite state of Western countries on African continent, accepting refugees from Syria who are going to be terrorists again in our region. We must speak up of this. How do we know that these people are not going to be terrorists in Rwanda? How do you take in people whom you don't know where they are combatants? Even some of them could be bombers, suicide bombers. They will kill us here. They are bringing danger to us in Africa. Hello, Africa. Charles Mutama.
Oh, thank you, Dr. Matsanga, Mwalimu, and all fellow panelists and Pan-Africanists here present. I think my opening statement is that Mwalimu Matsanga has been vindicated. I would like to notify my fellow panelists here present that my interests in the ICC and its activities on Africa were sensitized and even made active by the challenge, I guess, which dates back to 2013 by none other than Dr. Matsanga, who challenged the case against now President Ruto and the former President Kenyatta in Kenya, where he single-handedly confronted the ICC and its irrelevance in African jurisprudence. So I salute Dr. Matsanga, and that's where my relationship really started. That's the point of departure when I began following Dr. Matsanga, and I am like, when I read the news a few days ago of the ICC bringing a case against President Vladimir Putin of Russia, I said, finally, one of our own, a son of the soil, Dr. Matsanga, has been vindicated. When a lot of people thought his efforts were in vain and were going to go unnoticed, this is the moment of realization. Now, what the case against the ICC by Dr. Matsanga in support of President Kenyatta and President Ruto shows, number one, it exposes the injustice of the ICC and how it is captured, and also how it is vindictive towards Africa in particular. And then number two, it also exposes how the ICC is incompatible with most constitutions in Africa and indeed in the world, also in general. So a case in point, I would bring your attention to the fact that the three major superpowers in the world, China, the USA, and Russia, are not signatories to the ICC. But now, the ICC case against President Putin also exposes the foolishness of African countries. I've put the statistics of the membership or the signatories of countries that form the majority or the bulk of signatories. And shamelessly, it's African countries, 33 of them, more than Asiatic countries, European countries, and Latin American countries. And as you have always heard in this forum or on this space being asked, who has bewitched us? Dr. Matsanga is always asking us, who has bewitched Africa? Why 33 of us are signatories to the Rome Statutes? And eventually, we cry when we are dragged to foreign courts, when we can utilize our own legal systems. As Dr. Matsanga alluded to a few weeks ago, the African Union is dead. It needs to be reconstituted. That is where the problem is. Africa has no pride in its own institutions, in its own intellect, and in its own civilization. I think currently, as we engage in this discussion, we have former President Charles Taylor languishing under the custody of the ICC. I think it's an embarrassment to Africa that our leaders, our people, their destiny is still being determined in Europe. And as such, we time and again witness extra-legal action by foreign powers on African soil, either through these court actions or through assassinations. A case in point, Patrice Lumumba in the DRC Congo. And Africa watches. And Africa even participates. As I've mentioned, 33 African countries are signatories to the Rome Statutes, more than other continents. As I lend the mic, I pay tribute to Dr. Matsanga for his historical challenge against the ICC and the vindication of his Pan-African work and his service to the people of Kenya in particular and to the people of Africa. He set the pace. He set the trend that us young Pan-Africanists need to emulate and build upon in our effort and our quest for Africa's true political self and economic determination. And indeed, most importantly, economic determination. Africa needs to economically determine its destiny. And ultimately, it can legally and politically determine its own destiny. I lend the mic.
Thank you very much, Comrade Charles Mutama, the president of Zimbabwe Patriotic Party from Zimbabwe and from Washington, D.C. Thank you very much for that explanation. And for your information, Charles has put a breakdown on the chat. You can read it and know how many countries are in the ICC from Africa, how many have requested to be in the ICC, how many have quit. I want to take this opportunity to thank the late president of Burundi, my comrade. I flew into Burundi, sat down with Nkurunziza, and I explained to Nkurunziza what it means by Article 127 of the Roma Statute. Article 127 of the Roma Statute, ladies and gentlemen, states, and I'm not using any notes, I'm using my head summary. It says, if there is any disagreement, irreconcilable differences between the state party and the International Criminal Court, within the framework of the Roma Statute of 1998 and Article 127 of the Roma Statute, a country is free to go to the Secretary General of the United Nations and quit, giving notes to quit the marriage if the marriage is irreconcilable. If the husband is beating the wife every night, if the wife is locking the husband out of the bedroom and the husband sleeps in the kitchen, these things are happening in your families elsewhere. I'm not saying they are not. Don't tell me you have never quarreled with your wife or your husband. You always have differences over money, over bills, over so many things. And those quarrels are there. Some people push others to the extent. If the marriage is irreconcilable, irreconcilable differences, you pack your things, write to the Secretary General, warn the Secretary General that I am leaving the International Criminal Court. Ladies and gentlemen, there is only one person, and one person alone. And that one person who agreed with me was the late President Nkurunziza of Burundi. He told me, can you draft the letter in English? Because he speaks French. He said, I'll draft the letter in Bujumbura. And I want to thank lawyer, Chief Charles Tako, my international lawyer. We flew together to Burundi, Bujumbura capital. Chief Tako Charles Tako is from Cameroon. He is my international lawyer. He's the lawyer who handles anything that you want to accuse Matsanga anywhere. Chief Tako will handle it. We flew together. I wrote that night in the hotel how we can tell the Secretary General we are quitting. We went back to see the president before departure to Nairobi that year before he later on, after 2 years, he died. I am telling you, Burundi quit ICC. There were 34 countries. Burundi became the first country in Africa to quit. I flew to South Africa. I met President Zuma, the former president of South Africa. I was there when they wanted to arrest Bashir in Johannesburg. I was there, present in that summit. I went and told the Foreign Affairs Minister. We sat down, we went to the president. We said, if you are joking with ICC, you are going to have a mess of your country. Quit ICC. South Africa said again, you are an expert, help us. I drafted with South African lawyers, we drafted a letter telling the ICC that we are quitting. When Mr. Ramaphosa, you know, in this world, ladies and gentlemen, when you are making a bed of thorns, leave some space where you can sleep. Ramaphosa made a bed of thorns. Ladies and gentlemen, when Ramaphosa came to power, he reversed the decision of South Africa not quitting, of the South Africa quitting ICC. He reversed it. Ramaphosa is now going to face, in August, Mr. Putin is flying to Pretoria, Cape Town, and Johannesburg for the BRICS summit. My question here, will he arrest Putin? I leave it as an open question, an open answer session. Now I bring in somebody who has not spoken, Clara Hart. Clara Hart,
Yes,
tell
sir.
us where you are speaking from, my dear sister.
I am the heart of United States, living in South Dakota, Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Can you hear
Thank
me?
you.
Yes.
We are with you. Go ahead.
Finally. Right now, I think I've been trying to study your style and also your background and your, expertise with the AU, the organization that I wish I never uttered those words. To me, AU has been dead since 1975 because when Mozambique became independent, the person that presented that was Field Marshal Idi Amini. From that day, I never recovered. Why? To me, I just have so many emotions and just anger towards that organization. Okay, let's put that aside. Coming to ICC, I believe Putin may not get arrested, but if he goes to South Africa, as you stated, South Africa is a co-signer to ICC, they're obligated to turn him in. But are they going to do that? I think the only thing South Africa can do is disinvite him, because being placed on the ICC list means you are limited to travel or you are putting yourself in danger of being arrested, correct? So I want to learn more about this, what ICC is doing in the African continent, the harm that they're doing, because I think during the Second World War, they did a marvelous job convicting the Nazis and those criminals from former Yugoslavia, especially from Serbia, or Srebrenica, Croatia, and Bosnia Herzegovina. And as for Syrians, refugees being resettled in in Rwanda, I don't think it's a bad idea, because if we start calling those refugees being resettled in Rwanda as terrorists, then that defeats the purpose of any country opening doors.
Ladies and gentlemen, we lost Grada Hart. Grada Hart, you'll come back. Anybody, I request anybody using Bluetooth, please. If you have an Android and you are using Bluetooth, please switch off the Bluetooth if you are on this platform, because it will affect all of us. Apparently, Twitter has not managed that software properly.
No,
People
Dr.
on-
Matsanga. Dr.
Yes,
Matsanga,
please
if you
keep quiet and I speak first. I'll give you permission to speak. Please, Mr. Knife. I'm just trying to explain what Twitter told me. And they have a technical expert has told me from them that when a platform has somebody has Bluetooth on, trying to pick all the numbers of other people, that's where they don't have that software first. So, Mr. Knife, what were you saying, sir?
So the problem with the Twitter, if you are using an Android, you need to go to Google, the Google Play Store, and you need to click on the Twitter app, and you turn off the automatic update. And once you turn it off, you uninstall the app from your phone, and then you go to the Galaxy Store. And then in the Galaxy Store, you load the new Twitter app, install it on your phone. That one is the up-to-date Twitter app. All of your problems will go away.
Thank you very much. Because of what you have said and that good voice from the Republic of Zimbabwe, I give you the platform, but just hold on a minute. My technical team from Nairobi, are you hearing what people are saying now? You have been given free radio punchline in Nairobi. Can you do that right now? Those are instructions. Right now, can you repeat those instructions, sir? Mr. Knife?
Yes, you want to go to the App Store in the Google Play Store, and then you want to click on your Twitter app. When the Twitter app opens, on the top right, you want to click the three dots. Go to the settings, and then where it says uninstall, you want to stop automatic updates. When you stop the automatic update, you want to uninstall the Twitter app. Once you uninstall the Twitter app, you want to go to the Galaxy Store. In the Galaxy Store on your Android phone, you want to load and install the Twitter app. That is the very new, up-to-date Twitter app.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we have very interesting people. This is why we need these platforms. Me, unfortunately, I don't use the Android. I am a man of imperialistic nature of the West, of some side there in America. I use what is it called, iPhone. So I don't have those problems, but it is coming on my platform. So I must also prevent any attacks from other people who have those problems of Android. I thank you very much, Mr. Knife, because we have been having a problem. Even our radio station, our good music of Oliver Mutukuzi and others has not been playing today. Stephen, are you ready now? Can you play some music later on after they talk? Good numbers of Tanzania, of Kuti, of Nigeria. Please do that and come back to us. When you are ready, give me a signal. Otherwise, thank you very much. Clara Hart, you finish up your sentence. Then, Mr. Knife, you pick it from what Clara has said. And I will explain to you, Clara Hart, as you come on the platform. South Africa is a signatory to the ICC treaty. But they can't stop Putin from going there because Putin is the head of BRICS, of the BRICS. And the meeting for the BRICS is the first one, which is going to oppose IMF, World Bank, and the dollar. So South Africa is at crossroads. That's why I told you that when you are making a bed in this world, leave one space without thorns, because you can sleep on them. I had told Mr. Joseph, I've tried to bring you in, but your internet is not very good from Denmark. Please, if you are using free internet in Denmark, go to your house and use a good internet. You are a very rich guy in Denmark. Please, don't use free internet. It is disturbing you. I've seen from here. So I've been calling you several times. Now I've joined you. You see, you can't join even. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. You can't stop Putin from going to South Africa. South Africa has got to be reported. But where will you report South Africa? You see, the most interesting thing about this whole thing is that you are going to report South Africa to the United Nations Security Council. Now, Security Council consists of 5 permanent members. Out of the permanent members, only 2 are signatories, France and Britain. The 3 are not. America, Russia, and China. They can even blow up that building of ICC. They don't care. Americans told the chief prosecutor, Fatou Bensouda, the woman who had just resigned, that we shall blow you out. They even put sanctions on her. Her son is a very bad thing that happened to her. Her son died in America, and she could not go to America because she was on a visa. Have you seen how God works miracles? Some good miracles, some bad miracles. She couldn't bury the son. But they are the people who have been forging papers to fix people in Africa. God paid a price. She paid a very big price there. She could not bury. Americans said, you are not stepping on our soil, because you wanted to detain Americans. So you won't come to our soil. Your son whom you produced is dead. You can't bury. That's how bad this court is. And that's how that court, you must view that court as a very dangerous court. And African leaders who are still here wearing their suits running around the world in the planes that they are in the ICC, don't regret. I think you are bewitched. If I were an African leader, I would quit and run away very Maurice. I think you know South Africa is called Maurice. Run like a Maurice, run. Some people are not running away. This thing is going to catch up with them. President Museveni is still in this ICC. When he retires, people will come for him. All these people, leaders in Africa, please, be careful. When you retire, you have no powers. They will come for you. And don't blame me that Matsanga never told you. They will come and put you out of the farm and take you. This is exactly what ICC is. This is why these imperialists have put their things that divide us. And their mission is to divide us every day. Continue dividing Africa until Africa loses everything. And the people don't see that. When you are giving them a free lecture, a free advice. My sister Clara Hart, finish your point. Then Knife, prepare your point.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. By the way, I'm originally from Mozambique. So,
gracious,
gracious, Michelle. Yes, but
Mr. President Chisano and I were the first people that ICC arrested.
Oh, sorry.
You remember when we went to talk about the Konyi and the Uganda peace talks? And
Yeah.
a judge there called Peter Cowell arrested me and Kisano
Ooh.
and said, you are not leaving the building until you produce these suspects.
Mm.
Until Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the United Nations, made a telephone call. And we are released in 10 seconds.
Wow.
So, ladies and gentlemen, those who don't know, we were the first people to be arrested with Chisano.
Wow.
We had gone on Uganda peace talks. We wanted to present to the ICC that we want to be given time for the peace process to go on. We all combined the forces. When you reach the court, you know you leave your passport and everything downstairs. When you reach the office upstairs, the German judge hated, I think he hates Africans. He looked at us and said, you have been arrested. You will not leave this building and you'll go to custody in the cells downstairs. He didn't care whether this was a former president or not. He said, all of you, 6 of you who have come here, Matanga and your delegation, President Chisano, and the others, and the generals who were part of the peace process, you are under arrest. He arrested us. We had no passports to come out. We can't jump through the building on 27th floor.
No.
So there we were. So when I talk about ICC, some of you must not take it lightly. It's a very bad thing. It's a bad institution. The Secretary General of United Nations himself made a call to the chief prosecutor, Ocampo, and told him what is going on there. Within about 10 seconds, 20 minutes, we are out, not seconds, 20 minutes. And I said, from that, I will fight it up to the end until I find a country that can go and destroy it. I almost brought Israel closer to destroying it. And the United States, they thanked me. They wrote to me letters to say, thank you very much. You were right. This is not a good court. It is used politically. Somebody has politically told Karim Khan to issue a warrant on Putin. I'm telling you. So finish up, Kala.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Masanga. It's always nice to learn, from our leaders like you. And it's sad that you had to go through so much. And where is this pain, also lack of being acknowledged and respected for your expertise and wisdom ever going to be, accomplished? But one thing I just want to clarify, I'm not a friend of Chisano. That's why I'm here in the United States and my parents in North America. So that's a different story. Can you hear me? Right now, I think being in the United States, and I've run for office, and I've been in with the process of participating in a democracy since I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm putting all my energy to just make sure my adopted country becomes the light of the world, just the last hope. But what I'm really, really about, or why I like to join you, Dr. Masanga, is I want to find out exactly what your plans are to help AU disbanded, because I want that AU to be disbanded. Right now, there are problems down south with the flooding due to cyclone Freddie. I see some comments from Malawi. People are asking, where is the European Union when we need them? But I argue with them. Look, what is Malawi part of the European Union? But Ukraine is on the process, and Turkey is part
I think we lost the sister there. She's gone. Oh, you sounded like a typewriter. You sounded like a typewriter, sister.
Thank you very much, Knife. Your phone. You have been an activist in the US.
Dr. Matsanga, you're breaking up. You're breaking up.
Your phone. Knife. Knife.
Dr. Matsanga, you're breaking up. Something wrong. You're speaking like in fast forward kind of. Something wrong with your connection. You're speaking fast forward, really fast, really fast. But I'll try to keep talking while you fix out your connection. Well, I think the big much. Yeah, you're back. Yeah, you're back. You're back.
Hey, Knife, I think he said you can go ahead and speak from what I heard, even though it's fast forward.
Okay, so I think the problem with the OAU started from the inception. May 25, 1963, when all of these African leaders, young African leaders, were standing on the steps in Addis Ababa with Haile Selassie. And they had a mission. The mission was to follow the footprints of Kwame Nkrumah, One Africa. On this day when these guys met, there was a lot of hanging out in hotel rooms and everything. There was a change in the direction of how Africa was going to go with this OAU. These guys ended up using this organization of African unity to become the platform for blind diplomacy, where one leader will see his neighboring leader commit atrocities, turn a blind eye, make positive comments about him in the background. And it also has become the facilitator of these illicit movement of minerals in Africa, where people are now polishing each other's egos and wallets by doing these illegal trades with each other and all of that under the table thing. I think the OAU was a joke from the beginning. And at the end of the day, as I always say, is that we are citizens of a company. Southern Africa, the British South Africa Company, is still the powerhouse that governs Africa till today. Same thing in French Africa. They have the French who are running 14 countries in Africa. Nigeria is pretty much the same thing. These are companies. And we are here fighting to get independence, and we're fighting for free and fair elections, but we are approaching the manager of the company. We're not approaching those guys who initially granted us independence on a piece of paper, right? Conditions. There was that ceasefire kind of independence. And that's what we have today, is we just have a piece of paper with conditions of independence, which still left the powers that really matter in the hands of these ex-colonialists. Southern Africa is in the same boat right now, right? They had this independence where you go and shake hands and smile at the guys who massacred everybody at Sharpeville Massacre, shake hands and move on. And that was like a Band-Aid on a gushing wound. Eventually, we see Nelson Mandela coming out from prison as a pussycat. When they arrested him, he was a roaring lion. He came out as this peacemaker who was getting paid to do speeches and speak peacefully and smile and kiss babies. But in the background, the actual structure of Southern Africa was still in the hands of those who we were trying to take power from. And now we've got South Africans are complaining that they have no jobs. The power system structure is all fraudulent. If you think about the power electrical structure of Southern Africa, it was a fraud from Cecil John Rhodes. Cecil John Rhodes created a company called the Transvaal Victoria Falls Company. He traded this company on the stock exchange in Europe and made lots of money. That is the power which runs Africa today. So I think a lot of us, we're trying to kind of change, to kill the tree by cutting down, pulling down a few leaves, but we're not going to the root of the problem. It's my agenda with all of this. We got to go to the root of the problem. Is that order of independence that they gave us was flawed from the beginning. In Zimbabwe, we had the ZAPU, we had Zorewa, we had Joshua Nkomo, everyone. They were fighting together in the bush. But when it came to the day to sit at the Lancaster House Conference, they was opposing issues, and there was like a battle which continues to tear apart the country till today. So I rest my case.
Thank you very much, my brother, for holding the space. You even held the space while I was away. And that's why I like, you know, one interesting thing, ladies and gentlemen on this platform, I think when you come to this platform, you learn quite a lot of things. Did you know that South Africa was registered in the stock exchange in New York as a trading company? Did you know that? This is not even fiction. And nobody in Africa has gone there to struggle to remove South Africa as a trading company. That's why the Malemas, the younger men, are struggling now on the platform. They don't know that the white guys registered South Africa as a trading company. The same to Nigeria, Lagos was registered as their company on stock exchange in London. That is why nobody can touch Mr. Tinubu. Because if you touch Tinubu, you will have to know quite a lot of secrets. Tinubu owns half of Lagos in collaboration with the same guys who trade this money on the stock exchange. They trade our property, the land, the oil, the whatever is down around Lagos is traded in the stock exchange. They earn money through speculation. Ladies and gentlemen, Africa, we are still very far. Has the ICC shown to you that it's a political tool used by the people who want, if they don't like you in Africa, you go down. They will bring ICC to you. Ivory Coast, Libya, Sudan, Uganda, Kenya, Democratic Republic of Congo. Can somebody tell me that in Congo we have indicted only rebels, but we have not indicted government troops? So government troops in Congo shoot with water, and the rebels shoot with copper bullets. Have you seen that? Can you laugh? Laugh a bit. Thank you. Thank you very much, Knife. Let me bring my brother Sage Mukali. Sage Mukali, I like the way you do your things. And but before you do that, I want to give you a Tanzanian song because Mukali is from one of those areas. There's a Tanzanian song favorite. My radio station is back to normal. Thank you very much, Knife. Stephen in Nairobi, can I hear your voice?
We are good on this end, Doc. We are good.
Yeah, then good by giving us a good song to warm us up as we Punchline Africa. Radio Punchline Africa is part of my companies across the world. It plays, it is stationed in Nairobi 24 hours, 7 days a week, 365 days. If you are in the gym, you are in the kitchen, you are on the road doing your running, very early morning running, evening running, just tune to Radio Punchline Africa. You will get all African numbers, non-stop. And you'll get their very good voices. Some of the younger girls, the younger men that I thank you. You do a great job in my absence. Thank you very much, Stephen. Can you greet the people? Stephen?
Hello to everyone. Hello to everyone. Welcome to the Twitter Spaces, and always tune into Radio Punchline Africa for all the great hits from the African continent. Thank you.
And what about the television station?
Of course, they can also tune into Punchline Africa TV. You can find us on punchlineafricatv.com and all the social media platforms where you'll get great political conversations on Africa all day, every day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want you to think it is a computer or a robot. I wanted the man himself to say it right from Nairobi. Thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you. I can see my sister from Rwanda. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. You have been away for a long time, perhaps. I don't want to think like Obierica, what had happened. The Umofia clan was falling apart. What is happening in the war in Congo, DRC Congo? What's going on? Sag Mukali from Tanzania. Habari yako mzee, ndugu mpenzi?
Mzuri, lakini natoka Rwanda.
Asante sana for the correction.
Yeah, I come from Rwanda,
but you are
Tanzania.
very close there. So
yes, we're neighbors. All right. So first of all, thank you so much for this conversation. I think it's a very overdue conversation that Africans should have. I have to say that I always appreciate your leadership and your insightful ideas on the issues facing Africa. I congratulate you for that. On this particular topic, let me say that I have disagreements with you with your assessment when it comes to ICC. So for me, I think that ICC is probably the good thing that happened to the planet and the continent. And with that, I do agree that it has some imperfections, it has some issues. It's a work in progress, but I will not criticize ICC unless I have another viable alternative. You said you went all over in Burundi and other countries trying to convince leaders to disengage from ICC. I would have appreciated if you have suggested any other alternative instead of leaving the people of Africa, we the people, you and me, not the leaders, at the hands of all these dictators that kill us, that have done all these atrocities, and we don't have any mechanism to hold them accountable. So here's my point. If you were saying that ICC prosecute African leaders who have not done the acts they were accused of, then that would make sense to me. But most of these people who refer to ICC, first of all, these African leaders, they went to Rome and they ate so much and drank so much and they signed things they were not sure about. And second, even those who have not signed, they are the ones who are referring their cases to ICC. They are the ones who are giving ICC to prosecute. Third, let's come back to see what kind of cases ICC actually hears. These are the heinous crime, the worst of worst. It's genocide, crimes against humanity, war crimes, and very recently, as of 2018, ICC can prosecute the crime of aggression. So are you trying to, when you say ICC is bad, when you say it's a political tool, you're trying to tell me that it's okay for these dictators we have in Africa to do all the 4 crimes we mentioned? Are you trying to say that Hissène Habré or Lubanga and all these killers, mass killers, should go free?
Sagi,
So
hold the microphone. Don't go away.
yes, I'm right here.
Hold it.
So
Now,
what I'm saying
hold
is
the
that
microphone.
ISIS is not
Let
perfect.
me bring
ISIS
you.
is not perfect, but it's the closest thing we have, and I think it's not fair to just sit up there and criticize without offering any other alternative. Otherwise, we'll be at the hands of all the dictators who are killing us, the civilians, us, the citizens.
That is correct.
So
that is correct. Now, Sagi, this is a platform.
I can
you
hear
have
you.
spoken your mind. I want you to look at the question again. Has the ICC proved to the world that it is a political court used or just used by anybody? Nobody has said it is a bad, it should not be there. You are now going to the waters. I'm watching your statement is going to bordering to saying we have not said it should not be there. We are simply saying, is it used politically to target people? The answer is yes. And I've given you examples. Apart from, don't misunderstand the Rwanda tribunal with the ICC. The terms of the Rwanda
I get it.
tribunal are different.
Yes, I know it's ad
No,
hoc.
wait.
And
Boss,
I know
you are speaking with somebody who has knowledge of the inside of this thing here. ICC. Now, the terms of ICC are different. The terms of the Liberian Sierra Leone tribunal that sentenced Taylor are different. The terms of the Rwanda tribunal in Arusha that sentenced Interahamwe and others who killed people in Rwanda are different. Now, I want to pose my question, and I want a straightforward answer. The criminals that you talk about in Congo are Thomas Lubanga, Bosco Ntaganda, Bemba. I want you to tell this crowd here, this platform, tonight, now, who has been taken from Congo, who is a government general officer working in the army. Who is in court from the government army, the army of Congolese army, that FARD is called FR and something. There is no general. There is no officer in the Congolese army, in the DRC ICC indictment, who is facing trial in the head. Only the rebels are the ones killing, but the Congolese army does not kill. The Congolese army kills with water. Do you have water bullets? Or they don't kill. So the Congolese army kills with water or shoots with water, which does not hurt. But the rebels, Bosco Ntaganda, Thomas Lubanga, Bemba, and there is another one. They shoot with rubber with copper bullets. Stop there, then I add another one. Look at the question of Uganda. You tell me in Uganda, where is the other side? They took only the Luo side. They left. Leave Uganda. Let's go to Kenya. They picked 6 people, tall ones and the short ones. They looked for short, tall, black, brown. They left. International law, the doctrine of international law, Sagi, I want to teach you tonight. We don't pick the shooter. We pick the master, the commander who sits in Sicily and picks a phone and said, I want you to assassinate Mr. Sagi, seated in a white car in the left-hand corner. The boss of mafia. That's the one we pick in international law. In the case of Kenya, the people who should have gone to the courts should have been the president and the prime minister. There was no way of you taking Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto, because William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta were not the presidents or the prime minister. Are you hearing me now? In Yugoslavia, we took both sides, Bosnians, Serbs, Croatians, all of them, we took them to The Hague. Albanians, Macedonians, they are all there. All sides were taken. In Africa, they choose the side they take. Stick there again. Let me move you to Sudan. Bashir and the 3 others. If you know the history of Darfur, Gema, freedom fighters, none of their people has been convicted. So were they shooting with water or were they shooting with what? They took on the Bashir side. They wanted Bashir and his deputy and another general. Politically motivated. Stick there again. Let me move you to Libya. They came for Gaddafi's son, Saif Gaddafi. Saif Gaddafi, after the father and everything is gone. They never came for terrorists. Terrorists, Al-Qaeda, who occupy Tripoli today. These are terrorists who kill people. The ICC has not targeted any of them. We armed the terrorists in Libya to kill, remove a government, and they took over. Is there peace in Libya? No. Let's go across to Syria. Obama and Sarkozy, they armed the Syrian liberation organizations. Al-Qaeda. Now today, you are from Rwanda, Mr. Sagi Makali. They are bringing you terrorists who are being shifted from Britain to your country. Sindio, you are saying you are the best people in Africa. You will see. Give it 5 years. Call me if I'm still alive. Call me. They are airlifting them for you and dumping them in Kigali in those mountains there. One day they will wake up, they will be killing you. And you are agreeing because of money. However much you are being paid, I don't know. I don't want to go to that extent. Kagame is my friend. I'm waiting to find him in one of the conferences and I'll tell him my face. Dr. Matsanga, I don't fear. This is a younger man who trained with me. He was young. Kagame is younger than me, at least by 3 years. So I will tell him he has to respect me as an editor. And he calls me Omsakuru. That's the name he calls me, Omsakuru, in our clan dialect of Kibukisu means an editor. He respects me. I would ask him what rationale he has to accept people from Syria to be resettled in his place when he don't know. Recently, the United States of America airlifted Taliban, and they were moving with them in a plane on a ship, in a plane in a ship. Then they said, Uganda, can you help us? Now, Ugandans who are here, I want to ask you, how many are they? How many are left? How many are in the? Can you tell me how many are in the camps? Where are these people who were brought to Uganda? Are they still in Uganda? Ladies and gentlemen, this is our Africa. I've given you examples where politically motivated arrest, target. How do you go to investigate a case of Ukraine and Russia? Two countries are fighting. Bring Russians and bring Ukrainians also in court. Then the world will say, yes, this court is balanced. Those examples are good enough for you. If you want to have to add anything else, those are facts. I've not manufactured them. I've been in this case. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Matanga. So I appreciate all those examples. So what I think is that ICC, like any other international courts and international mechanism, they are vulnerable. That's a fact. International law is just a kind of an imperfect justice because we don't have an international police to lend an enforcement arm to all those courts. We don't have any way to enforce all these indictments. We know the power dynamic, how imperfect is our Security Council and actually unfair is our Security Council. That's the framework, the imperfect framework ICC and other international mechanisms are operating in. I think we should recognize that. A few minutes ago, you talked about how Fatou Bensouda was trying to do his job to get Americans also prosecuted. But you said how he suffered, how he could not even bury his own son. That's an example of the difficult political conditions that ICC and other international mechanisms are faced with. So when we talk about political influence and who are making ICC ineffective, it would be good to know to say who is doing that, because what I see is an institution that is trying to do better despite so many limitations, and others are just the lack of visibility. They judge every time they for sure. Bashir, I think they did great to arrest Bashir. I was shocked when you said that you were not supporting South Africa to arrest Bashir, who is a criminal, who is he was a genocide mastermind, really. And
Bakari, Mukari.
Yes.
Bashir was fighting in Darfur. There was a group. I don't know whether you have understood
the Janjaweed. Yes.
Whether you have understood my position. Bashir was fighting.
I did understand your position.
But Bashir was fighting a rebel group called Gema. Gema had a commander and had the soldiers. They were killing just as the government forces were killing. So when you go to arrest Bashir, do you only arrest Bashir? Is that justice? You arrest both, because both of them picked up arms. They all picked arms and started fighting. They killed people, both of them. So why do you arrest one? That's why I'm saying it is politically motivated. Bashir's arrest, I've told you, there is a group, a Christian group in US that paid Ocampo $17 million to arrest Bashir. Because Bashir hid Osama bin Laden. Bashir had a problem with Americans because of Osama bin Laden. You remember when Tomahawks went to hit in Sudan? You remember? Do you know that something like that? They were looking for Osama bin Laden. They missed him by minutes.
Yes,
And
that
that
fact, yes.
Americans never forgot that. So Bashir was fixed, politically fixed, and it has destroyed Sudan. Sudan is one of the countries where we could get wheat, but it has no foreign exchange. It has been blacklisted. Please, these things are there. Don't just jump like to say the only reconciliation that has been there in Africa, which is very good, is Gajaja Court. And I want to laud my comrade, my fellow comrade fighter of Fronasa, was Cosma Alum, he was Fronasa, Kagame, for creating what we call Gajaja Court. Gajaja courts in Rwanda have done very well. That's the only organization I can be proud of in Africa. That the killers came to sit near the ones they killed, and they live together. Mr. Sage Mukali, can you clap for yourselves? Can we clap for Rwanda for that? Yes.
Rwanda, being a Rwanda,
yes, Rwanda has healed.
Participated in
don't even clap. Let's clap
it was
for
also
you.
It was also an perfect justice, but at least it was better than many other.
But at least Rwanda
mechanisms.
As I finish, Rwanda has done very well. That's the type of justice, local mechanism. You cannot have howling people, putting people in tribunal and locking them for life. Does not stop another genocide coming tomorrow, does it? It can erupt. But now in Rwanda, it's difficult to erupt because the people have reconciled. They have done what we call a redemption strategy. You have reconciled. The killers have said, we are sorry.
That's not actually true. That you need to do more research.
No, I don't know.
At least visit Rwanda.
I don't know which side you belong to, but that is the way I see as Gajaja Court from a conflict resolution expert in analysis.
I was in Gachacha court. Myself, I'm trained as a lawyer. I participated in Gachacha. So
but at
if you want to know my opinion on that,
at least,
then I'll tell you.
But Mukali, it has served some purpose. Rwanda is stable. It gained that stability and credibility. If it spoils it in the future, don't blame Matsanga. Don't blame yourself. You have played your part. If it is spoiling it by importing people from outside who might later on become terrorists in their own country and start killing the same people, it is not my problem. But it's so far, so good. They did very well. And after the genocide, Rwanda came back and sprang back. It is there. You cannot throw litter in Rwanda and walk free. You will be told, no, pick up your litter. People are disciplined there compared to some African countries. Yes, some people in Africa, they can kill you on a traffic light because you are stopping at a red traffic light for the car to the green to come. Mr. Saki, have you driven in some cities in Africa? You might come back and say, no, I don't want to come back here. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's push on. Sagi, have you finished your points?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We are not going to stay much here today. We must end before midnight tonight. So we have Oromo. I can see Oromo, is it my sister or Oromo Action Group. I don't know who is representing them today. I can see Karara has come back again from Mozambique. Thank you very much, Karara. You come back. Oromo, before you come, can we have
Yes.
some request song? Someone has requested a song here. Radio Punchline Africa, there's that there's a song, Shauri Yako. Someone and there's a gentleman from Denmark who wanted a song, but he's using very poor network. Okay, Radio Punchline Africa. If you have Oliver Mtukudzi ready, or if you have the Tanzanian song ready, whichever one you want to play. As we warm up, Oromo, make your points clear. You are going to be the next speaker. Let this not be only speaking, but also enjoy a bit. It is a Sunday across Africa. There have been clouds of smoke, but it's not our topic today, because for me, I believe in Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. Any of you tonight pick up that Matthew chapter 10, verse 14. Then you will know, Clara, you will know what Matsanga stands for. If you read that, and Jesus said, my disciples, that I preach. When you go to preach and you preach and the people don't listen to what you are preaching, shake your dust, carry it and go away. I've already told Africa that Africa is under crossroads of George Soros. That's why I'm not interested in hearing anything about what is happening, whatever it is. I told them a long time ago. Unfortunately, Africans don't like black professors. They like white professors. If you have a degree, a PhD in Africa, you are a laughing stock. Even people think you are mentally disturbed, permanently deranged. But when a white professor comes to tell them, they listen very fast. So I read chapter 10, verse 14 in Matthew for me. Read it and come tomorrow on Friday when we come back for another show in the morning. You will say I was right and Dr. Matsanga was right. Thank you very much. Let's play the music. Charles, would you like to listen to that number?
Nilikuelezea kao mama, watu wangu mama. Nilikuelezea kao mama, watu wangu mama. Mapenzi ya kwetu haitatawi kama mama. Mapenzi ya kwetu haitatawi kama mama. Tabia yako na yangu haisikilizane. Tabia yako na yangu haisikilizane. Unaona sasa we mama.
you think there is any way they can touch him? What are the consequences if Putin is arrested anywhere on earth in any country? Would it cause a third world war? Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm very grateful to be among you, the very enlightened Africans. I'm an African, I'm Black, as opposed to some of my people who say they are not Black and yet work in African Union. And I wish some of you here, proud Africans, give them some lesson there. I would like to focus on the topic in relation to Africans. I'm from Ethiopia, from a nation called Oromo. So I like to also challenge ourselves. First, my comment about ICC. Yes, I agree. The ICC has sharp tools when it comes to bringing, or at least symbolically requesting arrest warrant against the people or individuals or politicians who are in some way opposed to the powerful. I have been requesting, and I have been tagging, and I have been crying as a representing my group, the various criminal activities in Ethiopia, open genocide happening elsewhere as well. But nobody paid attention. The Ukraine-Russia problem happened after the Ethiopian massacre, ethnic cleansing, genocide against Oromos and against Tigrayans, openly calling the government calling for elimination of a certain race. This is videotaped. I'm not creating it. As I speak now, some of you could go back to my recent tweet. You can see soldiers stoning young Oromos in a certain city called Gambella. Soldiers, uniformed, have their guns. They did not even give the chance of mercy killing. Just shoot someone in the head. That would have been a mercy killing for me, even if it is extrajudicial killing. They were stoning them to death. Not one, not two, not five, not 10, 103 people like this were murdered just recently. In Ethiopia, the Northern War, excluding the Oromo, against the Oromo, 800,000 to 1 million people perished in just 18 months. This guy, who is the prime minister of the leader of Ethiopia, received Nobel Peace Prize in 2019. Nobody uttered a word. Secretary Blinken visited a couple of days ago Ethiopia, and he said he will strengthen the relationship between Ethiopia and America. And the accusation against Putin and he's one of his cabinet minister, if I'm not mistaken, the serious allegation is that they decided to deport Ukrainian kids to Russia, not killing. Of course, it constitutes, I'm not a lawyer, but it constitutes genocide, removing forcefully a certain group from one place, from their habitual residence to another one. How about cleansing people, killing, murdering, videotaping them? When they rape them, they videotape them, and they say, "We are cleansing you. We are the Jew race." In Ethiopia, this is happening in Ethiopia. As Africans, I'm asking, as Africans, respected Dr. David and Radio Punchline, I've seen a lot of people from my African brothers, have we ever tried to lobby, to advocate for our own African people? Have you tried? Like 10 of us here, 20 of us here, we could bring change. We can just tweet, we can just, draft a letter of dissatisfaction with the treatment of what is happening in Congo, what's happening in Ethiopia, what's happening elsewhere in Africa. We can also refer our discontent to ICC or other agencies, international agencies like AU, EU, or UN. We can request, demand representation in those platforms. Even why not ICC? We can request African journalists, scholars, influential leaders, community elders to be represented there. They don't vote on the judgment. They don't vote anything. But at least we need to make our voice heard. We have millions of people whose voice are not heard, who are dying silently. We are talking about people in the cities because they are easily, in urban areas, easily heard. In rural settings, every single day, rebels are killing and governments are killing. And showing the killing they kill on national TVs. What are African Union representatives and diplomats doing in Addis? Because they are given, excuse me, I have to expose this. Most African diplomats coming to Addis, they are rewarded with beautiful women, prostitutes, I should say. I apologize for the lack of better use of the word. What did we do to advocate for our own African people? ICC is playing on a field that we were supposed to play.
Mr. Oromo, just hold on first. That will not augur well for women who are on this platform. There are also male prostitutes. So which one are those that are awarded? Did you know that there are male prostitutes? No, wait first. Did you know that there are male prostitutes? Prostitution these days is done by both male and a female. So which one are they given to these diplomats? Both? So that you balance the act. You know, if you say women will be up in arms. I think they are going to come for you now. So you hide yourself. I'm teaching you for future reference on how to debate. You hide yourself in that they are both female and male prostitution, which is done everywhere now. Yes, and hide yourself there. But when you pinpoint out to women, they will come for you. They are here. There are very many. In fact, they are already raising their hands, coming for you. So finish up your story we have had, and then I will answer you on the question of Ethiopia and what role some of us played in bringing peace. We don't say there is peace everywhere, but at least for Tigray and the government, I took part you don't know how many. I've held about 20 spaces here. And we have quarreled, cried together with both sides. Even Oromo people know me very well. The Amhara know me, Tigray know me, the others know me, very many of them. Yeah. So finish up. It is very bad. It was very bad. It is still. These are some of the things that ICC should have gone for and brought up the culprits, but then they are going for things that are impossible. So land the mic with something that you can tell us what solution.
Thank you, Dr. David. I stand to be corrected. It could be both genders. From my experience when I was in Ethiopia, college students and girls could be boys also, where every time they will be transported to Addis when African Union meetings are held. That's my premise of my statement. Coming back to, let me quickly conclude. This is the arrest warrant against Putin is actually symbolic, but
You are
it is
enjoying it.
laughable.
Were you on this?
It's laughable when the Ethiopian case is not touched. Burmese and African cases, other African cases, are not even touched. And in those, the ICC court, there are at least 3 lawyers, African lawyers, who are represented there. Okay, if some country in some way try to arrest Putin, Russia will be acting swiftly with actions, war, probably a force coming to release Mr. Putin, and that will lead into parts supporting blocs supporting Putin and blocs supporting the West, and it would be a disastrous consequence. For me, as Dr. David correctly said it would have been better if Ukrainian counterpart also were called or given the arrest warrant, and also previously, long overdue cases in Ethiopia and other places were taking place. With regards to Oromo, unfortunately, we are not heard. Before the Tigray war, the Oromo issue was really severe. 4 years so far, and the Tigray case was 2 years. And thank you for taking part in the process of bringing peace. But please let me challenge you all here. On my tweet, on my Facebook also, the video, the evidence is there. Please retweet it. Let those people, because most of you are journalists and radio hosts, your voice is much louder than mine. Please retweet it, and I stop it. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Anna Asna Akech. Asna Akech, come back upstairs, please. I'm sorry, I passed.
Hello?
Asna Akech.
Dr. Masanga?
Yes, Kirara, hold on first.
Dr. Masanga?
Kirara?
Dr. Masanga?
Yes. Kirara, I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Hello?
Can anyone hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Hello, hello?
At least I'm hearing you.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, Clara.
Oh, okay. So can I just say something? Am I allowed?
You to be allowed, but
Masanga, am I cleared?
okay. Just 1 minute.
Okay. What I was gonna say, I disagree with Dr. Masanga's assessment on Syrian refugees who are being resettled in Rwanda, calling them future terrorists who are going to be bombers. I just don't agree with that statement. These are refugees fleeing from persecution. And now Britain has so many refugees, and they claim they don't have enough space to house all these refugees. So Rwanda has been selected to host refugees from several other places, not only Syrians. So if you're fleeing from persecution like I did, I don't think I want somebody to start calling me a future terrorist when I've run away from my country for fear of persecution. Otherwise, we had a very great discussion on ICC and the lack of organization of African unity. I heard so much and some information that I was not aware of. And I appreciate everybody's feedback and sharing of your wisdom and knowledge. Let's continue. We have so much. Let's not work on disbanding one organization without something to replace it. So,
Ma'am,
thank you. Thank
Clara,
you so
before
much for
you
giving
go,
me this moment. Bye bye.
Clara, before you go, I would like you to listen to this. And I will justify why I said so. And Clara, I would also like to inform you that I also left my country 38 years ago. At that time, there was nothing, no doubts like terrorism.
Hello?
Are you there with us or you are not hearing us?
Is Dr. Matsanga on?
Yes, I am on.
Is everyone on? Is anyone on? Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
We can hear you, Clara. Dr. Matsanga is speaking now.
Yes, I can't hear him.
Then that is a
I can't hear him.
Very serious.
But I'm done with my comments,
I have heard you,
Dr. Matsanga. So I tune out.
Thank you. Can you come down, step from the speaker's platform and listen to what I'm going to tell you. That I did not say, and I said it because I said that they could be future terrorists. Because some of these people are not screened properly. You are stopping somebody on the boat. He's about to cross the English Channel. You have arrested him on the boat. And the gentleman, let's reason like Africans here. The person picked from the boat. You haven't screened him. You haven't stayed with him for a long time. It is not a person you have given asylum, sat with him in Britain for 6 weeks, 1 year, 2, then you can understand his behavior. But the people that are being airlifted are people that they are stopping, crossing from Calais, from France to Britain. And then they are airlifted from the boat, taken to a center, a collection center. From collection center, they will go and apply for asylum from Rwanda. And you tell me I'm wrong? I think you are the one who's wrong because you don't know exactly the type of people that are being airlifted. So Clara Hart, you and I, all of us went out of those countries. We all went out as refugees. I went there 38 years ago. And here I thank the British government and I thank Her Majesty the Queen to have educated me, given me shelter, food, and I'm here today, imparting knowledge to the world. But you can't tell me people you are collecting from the ocean, you intercept them on the ocean when they are climbing the mainland. You put them the following day to another country to get their papers clean there. It's not, you don't know whom you are taking there. You might be taking somebody in the future who will turn around and destroy that country. That is all what I said. I think that is what my statement is. Clara Hart, if you are on the platform, or if you are not, yeah, you are on the platform listening to that is my answer. You cannot just airlift somebody. When you left Mozambique, you are not just airlifted and dropped. Then when you reach the US, United States said, no, go to Canada. without screening you. No, 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 no. I am trying to be honest here that these people you are bringing to another different environment in Africa, this could become very deadly people in the future. They could become very deadly. And these are the refugees that are getting from the ship, the boats. They find them on the ocean and they bring them on the mainland in a collection center, process them, put them on a plane to go away to another country. Surely? No. Well, if I'm wrong, let's wait and see. Asna Akech, please take the microphone. Then Clear Heart, I'll bring.
Okay, could you listen to me? I couldn't. Could you listen to me now?
We are listening to you 100%.
Okay. Okay, thank you. You know, I just wrote from the very beginning when I entered to your room, and you were speaking about ICC, and I understood that you were being experienced on that sphere. But I am an Oromian from the Empire Ethiopia. So I'm just here to hear about how do you see about the fascist. We call him Fascist Abiy because he is actually. I have been lived many years in Europe, and I have heard, I have seen, and even I have talked to those people who have been in during the Hitler time and how they were rescued and so on and so on. But what I see in that empire against Oromo nation is actually have never heard or seen in any kind of video almost all my life, but it is there. And the African Union, a bunch of dictators are sitting in Finfinne, the capital of Oromia, but still they have nothing, they didn't say anything about Oromian, about our suffering, our people's suffering, our people's famine, dying, 3 million cattle. It is the government. It is. I don't call them as a government, but they are a bunch of, bandits that are collected in that Arat Kilo, 4 kilo or what that. I can't say that it is a palace, but it is a kind of Satanist, compound, because a lot of things have been done in that compound too. Even Menelik II, he built his first prison there in Arat Kilo, in the palace. So even just a week before, Fascist Abiy is going to this Nobel Peace Prize to Oslo. There was a journalist who talked to him, and he showed him that wait a minute,
no, listen, my sister. I have tolerated your calling your former the Prime Minister of Ethiopia fascist, but my platform my platform has guidelines.
Okay, bye then. Bye then, because you cannot claim the whites. ICC is you cannot claim
tell him
the others
hey,
while
hold the fire first. call him the prime minister, and or call him by name Abe. Yeah.
Okay.
That is all. I'm not asking you to change even telling him so bad words, so many bad words. Call him, but you don't use the word fascist because people will think, you know, it goes against my platform. Tomorrow they will call, I choose it and close it, please. I'm asking.
But okay. Yeah, okay. But you have already listened to him, to me. And a week before, he showed the the journalist about that prison in that palace. It is not a palace, it is a Satanist compound, actually. And it was built for Oromos to be, imprisoned there. And still today, after 150 years, after 150 years, Oromos are in jail, in private houses, in different places, but no African have talked about this. No African have been voiced about us, because Oromian, it is a Gada system. It is who hold Africanism, and being an African is the origin of humanity. But no one. And still today, I think you have heard about 8 months pregnant woman was burned down alive in her home in Walaga. If you are working with justice, then you could have just read about it. And I think you have heard about people who have been burned alive and taking, selfie. We were tweeting here in this space. So first of all, we have to blame ourselves. We have to blame being black and not doing to our own people, and when it is needed. Firstly, and I don't, all those, I don't know how many countries are now in Africa, about 52, yes? So I don't know
There are
if
54.
there is anyone
There are 54
who is not a dictator, and we have to work against that. We have to free our people. We have to free 500 million people from these dictators. Then we can talk about others who are, we cannot claim Sweden or US or whomever it is before we clean up our own home, and we stand together, and we stand together to kick out all those dictators from African Union, and bring those young and vibrant Africans on place who are actually eligible to hold Africa for future,
Okay. Thank
now,
you very much.
Yeah, so this is what I say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. My sister from Oromo. 2 points. I'm a great friend of the Oromo people. And for you, when you think that we don't like you, I think you have not seen us yet. We like Oromo people. I was in the same camp training with Oromo people in Owinyikibul. You know Owinyikibul? Where it is, South Sudan. Oromo people were there. In Nairobi, I used to meet Oromo generals who left Ethiopia a long time ago. They are my great friends. I can name them by name. So we have talked about this Oromo issue for so many years. And for me, for your information, I don't agree with Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed. I don't agree with him, and I never agreed with him when he went to shake hands with Mr. Isaias Afwerki, because Mr. Isaias Afwerki, Zenawi, Isaias Afwerki, Matsanga, Dr. Nambago, and Dr. Wafula, we worked in the same office in 1987, 88, 89, 90, before they went to go and liberate Ethiopia from the hands of Mengistu Haile Mariam. I was seated with those gentlemen, Zenawi and Isaias Afwerki. We used to work in the same office. They had their differences. I used to stand up in the middle because Zenawi was short and Isaias is tall. So Isaias wanted to pass over the head to beat Zenawi. So I used to cover Zenawi because he was shorter than me, so that they don't fight in the office. I know their differences. So the day Dr. Abiy crossed and went to Asmara to greet Dr. General Isaias Afwerki, I knew everything was going to be bad for that country called Ethiopia. I disagreed with him. I said it, and up to now, I have said it. I am not a friend at all of Dr. Abiy Ahmed. Why they rushed to give him the Nobel Prize laureate of Nobel Prize, I don't know. But if I were them, I would have taken away this peace prize, the prize that he was given for peace, because he has not created any peace in Ethiopia. He has even created worse chaos and confusion, conflict in Ethiopia than any other leader we have had. So my sister and brother from Oromo, I'm always with you. But we also have to look at a big Africa. What do we want in Africa? We want African unity. As you rightly put it, there is no African Union. African Union died a long time ago. It died, it was captured by the French. They have it in their hands. If they want you to be taken to the ICC, they will say, we want him go. If they want a war in the Congo, they said they want it in Congo. If they want to refuse paying for your oil pipeline, like the one of Uganda, when they said don't pay for Uganda, they do it. So there is no African Union. It is African French property. We don't have African Union. It's been taken. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the end of this show, I want to thank you all. And I said the promise we shall close at exactly 12. Today it has been is a topic which is very interesting, but I can see, Clara, what do you want to say? Because I've already clarified what you talked about. Clara, you have the microphone.
Hello?
Yeah,
Hello?
you have the microphone.
Yes, I'll be brief, Dr. Matsanga and everybody. So I'm going to talk about this Syrian refugees being resettled in Rwanda. So
I'm cleared.
Chat.
Clara, I've cleared.
Yes.
I know. There's a difference between cleared refugees and the refugees found on the water and put in a collection center. Claire, remember, I stay in Britain. I don't think you can come. Listen, you can come from America and understand the British system, which is where I live, better than myself, who is part and parcel, who has been here 38 years. I've told you the refugees that are being airlifted from Britain are the ones that are found crossing over from Paris, from France, coming to sneak into United Kingdom. They are collected, taken to a house or a hotel. Then from there, they are being taken to Rwanda. While they are in Rwanda, they make the application. So I don't know what you want to hear more than that. That is the policy of the British government, and which I'm reading for you.
Yes, I understand that. I've been following the immigration process.
You are following, but I am there.
Country.
That's what I'm telling you.
Yes.
We oppose. I oppose.
No,
I oppose. Let them screen them there. And my point why I made it very clear, Syria was very peaceful. If you have been following me, you better follow me properly. Syria was peaceful. There was no war in Syria. Obama went and armed terrorists in Syria called the Syrian Coalition Fighters. Who gave them arms? The ISIS. Who created the ISIS? Isn't it Obama and Clinton, his wife, and Sarkozy? Let's look at the root causes. All these problems come to us. They're coming now to Britain. Britain did not go to arm anybody in Syria. Syria and Israel have been living together for a long time. Israel knows Syria is a terrorist state, but they lived together. Was there a war? Have you been to Aleppo? Do you know what war is? You are from Mozambique. You should know what war is.
I do.
They
I
have
understand.
destroyed Syria, which was once a bad, it could be a bad country. But you can't come and destroy Libya and leave us with Libya, where Libyans are begging us for food when they used to feed themselves. What policy is that? Obama left us that Libya crying. He apologized recently that it was a mistake for them to have invaded Libya. When they have killed a country, which African can be happy with that? Maybe you.
No, that was a bad policy. No, I did not agree with that. No, I didn't hate Muammar Gaddafi. I think he was just a great leader for African people. So for Americans to do what they did, no. I did not condone that. I still do not.
And that is what they have done.
That was
what
bad.
have they done? What haven't they done in Syria? The same. The same. You tell me. This boy Assad of Syria started in Britain, in one of the universities in Britain. When his father died, he took over power. Why are the Syrian? No, ask me. Why are the Syrian refugees looking for only to come to Britain and not stay in France? Why then airlift them before screening them? Then you bring a problem to Africa. No, you tell me.
Syrian refugees. Syrian refugees are everywhere. They've been going to Poland.
For them going everywhere, that's okay. But for you to airlift them without screening them and throwing them to Africa, it's like we are throwing danger. That's why I said they could be dangerous in the future.
Well, that's the point where they're going to be screened as well. I don't believe
where?
they're just going to be
left
in Rwanda.
Madam, you screen a terrorist when he has grown already in your place? Why do they screen them in Africa? Are we the screening center?
Would you say the same for Africans who are dying in the oceans going to find a place for employment in Europe?
Have you seen the treatment they have done for Africans going to Europe? Have you seen how Italians are even leaving the ships? They watch them sink.
Yes, I've seen that. I've seen some of that. I have.
Please, who is airlifting them? Who is airlifting them from Italy? Who? Tell me.
Well, no. Who is
airlifting
Nobody.
Who is airlifting the Africans? The Africans who come all the way from Congo, from Congo, Sudan, South Sudan, Eritrea. They are dying in the Mediterranean Sea. Who has airlifted? As the Italian government airlifted them and returned them? Have they? So are we second animals? Hello.
I don't believe so.
Yes, are we second animals? Is our blood green?
No.
So why are we being left to sink in the Mediterranean Sea?
But it's what I can say. I agree with you. I don't want to argue with you. Is this
No, we
issue with
can argue.
Africans trying
Madam,
to?
we are not quarreling. We can
Yes.
argue and put our
Yeah. No.
positions.
We're
Yes,
disagreeing.
we can
Yes.
disagree, but on this one, I am not happy with people using us as an experiment. That's the point I'm making. Why do you use Africa's soil as an experiment? Everything that comes is Africa. AIDS, they say it comes from Africa. Huh? There's another disease, monkeypox. What? They say it comes from Africa. Is there no disease that comes from there?
Well, yeah.
No, answer me.
Like
Don't reach US and
from
become US. Answer me.
yes, the disease that killed Native Americans.
Corona.
That is
This
with
time,
blood.
Corona came from where? They were even connecting
China.
Corona. They wanted to turn Corona to have originated from South Africa. Did you see that?
There is a variant from South Africa, but the
You see,
origin
even you are
one
agreeing
from
that
Wuhan.
the variant came
Yes.
from China.
Yes.
Why haven't you?
But
No,
second,
let me ask you, Madam. Why hasn't America asked China? How many people died in Wuhan? How many? How can 84,000 people since Corona broke out? If you go to the map of World Health Organization, only 84,000 Chinese died. How?
They came up with a new report yesterday on the origin of COVID or Corona. So I haven't read it. I don't have a good answer for you right now. I'm at a loss, just
I
like
am
anybody
also
else.
at a loss that with 4,000 planes leaving Wuhan, going to Beijing every day, only 4,000 people died. 84,000 people died. Surely, can you believe that? With a population of 2 billion people. Either we killed the rest who died, or you just banned all of them. So, why has
China has a history of
have you
hiding?
noticed that nobody has queried where the origin of Corona is? If it was from Africa, they would have quarantined that country. Quarantine, even put wire across. Isn't it? Africa is portrayed very badly in international world press. Ebola is Africa. AIDS, they trace it Africa. Another monkeypox, something Africa. What? You see?
Well, there was SARS, and that was China, right? A few years ago, where they stopped anybody from China who may have come in contact with flying birds or chicken. So that was another issue. It's just not Africa.
No,
only,
for
right?
us, what I'm trying, Clara,
yes.
The point I'm making is that why is our continent made a testing ground? Why do you carry? Why do you look here? Why do you carry refugees you have not screened and throw them to Africa and say you will screen them from there? Why? Tell me one reason.
I have to do a lot of research on that.
Exactly.
Because
Thank
what
you
I
very
know
much.
right now.
That's what I wanted you to admit. By the way, I'm a Labour Party member of the Labour Party of United Kingdom. Therefore, I oppose conservative policies.
So you're the one that's fighting.
Yes.
You're fighting with that lady. What's her name?
No, the lady, the former lady comes from my district. The one who used to be the Home Secretary. was from my
The brave, yeah, Miss Braverman.
yes. The former lady of Home Affairs is from Uganda, from Bali. So that one we
Okay.
could agree. But on this one, I'm not fighting them, but I'm a Labour Party member. So I believe in what my party in Labour in Britain is talking about, a better policy for refugees, because they could screen them, refuse them. Once they are refused, then you can take them wherever they want to go. But just to get them from the ocean and you put them in a bed and a breakfast, then a few minutes after that, you have a jumbo jet waiting at Stansted that you are flowing them down to Rwanda. There will be a problem in those places. You will hear me. Didn't you? Let me ask you, didn't you take refugees in Cape Delgado?
Oh, yes, Lichinga and Cape Delgado. Yes, they're still there.
So you think, have you seen that I studied politics and the history of the Great Lakes region? You can't beat me. You took refugees from from Rwanda, isn't it? Some of them settled there in Cape Delgado and Hinga.
Yes.
And what has happened today? The same. Are they the ones who picked up the guns to fight? Are they not the ones who brought ISIS? Hello?
Yeah, there's so many questions about that, but the government of Mozambique has sold that country to Russia.
It has sold the country to Total Oil, called Total Oil of France, not Russia. Russia has not gone there. No.
For guns. For guns.
No.
You see the flag of Mozambique. Why does it have a RK-15? Why? Why do you need that on a flag?
You ask Samora Machel. She's dead. He's dead. We could have asked him. Because when we are fighting the Portuguese, we should have changed the flag.
Yes.
Do I complain? I complain about my Ugandan flag, which has a crane in the middle?
I know. What's wrong with the crane?
Nothing.
I love it.
You see? So there you are. You should have complained about the flag. So
I wrote the president yesterday about it to remove it. I wrote President Nyusi that, as an American here, our kids are dying. And if you dare to come to Mozambique and see that a gun next to a book, it just doesn't make sense at all. It is just, we're not at war. Mozambique is no longer at war. They should just change that. And I know the person that drew that flag is still alive. So they can always go back and commission with him and draw a different flag. But that gun, AK-15, is going to go. I promise you that.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We have had a very good, thank you very much, Clash Hat. Always attend my shows, my spaces. You'll learn quite a lot. I hope you have learned something new today.
Absolutely.
And the ICC is not a very good court. Africa must create its own court where we can take our own African people. We better go and silence and sentence these guys in an African court where we can put them in jail. There's no need of airlifting people as we were airlifted as slaves and crossed over the oceans to go to America and to go to Saudi Arabia to work as slaves. We don't want that. We want to be charged on our African soil. And that is our stand. And that stand remains as a Pan-African value until we get it. We shall oppose. Putin will never be arrested anywhere. In South Africa, when he comes, he will finish his meeting and go home. If you touch Putin, you have touched a third world war. You will never touch Putin. This was a public relations exercise for the chief prosecutor to have some maybe money by Russians bring some money saying I will arrest your man, maybe tweet something. Otherwise he can't. He was doing it for public relations. And I want to thank everybody who has been on the platform. Time has run out. Radio Punchline Africa played the Mutukuzi song to end this show.
Can I just ask you? Sorry, please, Dr. David. Is Putin going to South Africa?
Yes, he's going to South Africa
When?
in August.
In August?
Yes.
And the South Africans are going to accept him?
Yes.
So awful. So awful. This is why we are not, this is why they are playing on us.
It's a public relations
Yes.
exercise, I told you. You can't even touch. How can you arrest a member of the United Nations Security Council? How?
But why should they accept him now? Why?
Because
I hope Dr. David, sorry for interrupting.
yes,
I hope he travels somewhere else before South Africa, before Africans become the cause of third world war.
yes. I wish also he should travel somewhere like Malaysia. Even Malaysia can't arrest him. You know you can't touch the superpower. And you touch a president of Russia, they will hit you with all missiles and you will be nowhere. So
Absolutely.
this was just a mockery to us Africans who are gullible. Every time we now believe that they are going to arrest Putin. You know, no, they will not arrest him. It's a public relations. Why can't they arrest Bush, who ordered the bombing of Iraq? Yeah. Why? Why is Bush free? Nobody can answer now. You see? Play the song of Oliver Mtukuzi and we go home. Thank you very much, space goers. Thank you very much. All of you, you have done very well today. The time has not been very good. And Africa still remains the same. Africa remains your bedrock. Africa remains your bedroom. Africa remains your concern. Don't give up on Africa. Africa will rise and shine again one day. Don't give up against the people of Oromo. They need help. Don't give up against